Something is happening right now in crypto. Bybit just got hacked for $1.5 billion. CZ, the CEO of Binance, is dumping his meme coin bags. Bitcoin fell below $86,000. Over $110 billion got wiped out from crypto in just a 24-hour period. All of the newbies are confused that bought over the past 30 days. Panic is everywhere. The crypto fear and greed index is extreme fear right now. So everyone wants to know what is going to happen next. Well, remember this, the darkest moments always come before the biggest moves. Chaos creates opportunity. So now it's more important than ever before to stay rational, be patient, wait for key levels, block out the noise, and don't miss the next bounce higher, because in this video, we have to talk about Bank of America's XRP secret getting out to the general public, what they are doing with Ripple, using XRP for their internal transactions, legislation that's coming to the crypto market, what just happened for Coinbase that is monumental, how there has been strategic fear, uncertainty, and doubt spread about XRP not being accepted by Wall Street and institutional investors that couldn't be further from the truth. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand what's happening on the charts to get an idea of where we are in this macro market cycle, how Bitcoin and the altcoin market goes through accumulation, growth, bubble, and crash phases, and what stage we are right now for altcoins compared to Bitcoin. So by the end of this video, you'll have an understanding if there's still hope for the altcoin market, or if we are going to crash and burn, lose all of our money, and be living in a van down by the river. So if you guys are feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, you know what to do, man. Confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. In fact, I haven't said this in a while, but go out into your shed, grab that rusty old putter that you got, and give the like button a tippity taparoo, sink the putt. We're doing it for grandma because we beat the SEC. Now we just got to buy our house back with XRP. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So over the past week, it's just been nasty in the markets, everything down 10, 20%. But is that out of the ordinary, or is this just something to be expected during a bull run? Because newbies that come into the market that buy into, rallies and pumps like this, that bought the peak when Bitcoin was at $107,000, they were just expecting it to keep going up because they let their emotions get the best of them, and they didn't subscribe to the channel to use rational logic based on technical analysis to understand the most likely scenarios to happen next. So we're going to discuss those in this video, because right now, virtually the masses are in extreme fear, except for the seasoned crypto investors that feel the opposite of how the masses feel. When everyone's in extreme fear, what's the best thing to do? Well, I'm not telling you to buy, but that's what I do. I decide to buy, I back up the truck. And when everyone's in extreme greed, I just know that that's the worst time to buy, when everyone's getting into the market and everyone's excited. So on the crypto fear and greed index over the past year, we can see where the markets have been. For example, 94. We can only get to 100 on the fear and greed index. On the 22nd of November, the markets were at 94. Well, where was Bitcoin at November? Well, Bitcoin was all the way upwards of $108,000 at the first peak before going through that whole consolidation phase since then. And right now, Bitcoin's at $83,000. So with this dip right now, we're going to discuss the charts in a little bit. But first, let's talk about the secret that Bank of America has been keeping in that is now leaking out to the public about XRP and what happens next for Ripple, for XRP, and the entire crypto market. So Bank of America CEO just said this.
It's pretty clear there's going to be a stable coin, which is going to be a fully dollar-backed type of thing, which is no different than a money market fund with check access, is no different than a bank account, really. And so if they make that legal, we'll go into that business. So you'll have a Bank of America coin and a US dollar deposit, and we'll be able to move them back and forth, because now it hasn't been legal for us to do it, but it's just then like another foreign currency. The question of what it's useful for is going to be interesting.
So Bank of America has been on the RippleNet committee since 2016. And in this recent interview on Fox Business, David from Sound Planning Group said this about Bank of America and XRP.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them. And basically, the Ripple's going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it. And there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out. So
the cynics, though, tell me, only put as much in this space as you're willing to lose. Effectively, as of now, some people say it feels like a casino. Do you agree with that?
It's the best example I have is this. Don't not get involved with something. Do whatever you would do for a nice weekend away with your spouse.
Okay.
And instead of doing that weekend, maybe put that in crypto. Here's what I'll tell you, 3 to 5 years from now, you either made some real money or you just lost one weekend together. Not a big deal.
I know, but I could have had that vacation,
You
right,
could have had a
David?
vacation or you made your retirement.
Well said. Okay, maybe that's a bet I'm willing to take.
And so that thinking right there from this host is what the vast majority of Americans are thinking. They want short-term temporary gratification rather than delayed gratification, because if you're investing in something that takes a few years to appreciate and you have to wait and you have to sacrifice little things like going out to the bars and drinking every single weekend, going on these little vacations, not buying those new pair of golf shoes or the new set of golf clubs or those new skis or that new boat. Instead, investing in your future by buying the technology of the future, well, that's how you're able to buy 50 boats, a new home, thousands of shoes, a vacation every month, because you're actually reprogramming your mind for what's important to you, and long-term wealth is much better than short-term fleeting temptations. So if Ripple's technology and XRP is going to be the track that everything runs on in the future, why is XRP's price selling off right now? Well, I talked about this in a video that I made about 8 days ago to prepare you for a likely scenario to happen, looking at these zones of support and resistance, and XRP getting rejected from this zone of resistance right here on the 14th of February, which was support all the way back here on the 19th of January until XRP broke it. The zone that I was looking to enter in for XRP was all the way back down at these levels that it was at prior to the middle of January. So back here, and I'll point arrows at where I'm looking at on the chart right here, on the 9th of December, also this wick down here on the 20th of December, also on the 30th of December. So we just wicked on top of that right here on the 25th of February yesterday. Now, if we break below this level, then yeah, it could get pretty nasty pretty quick. XRP could come all the way down to $1.50 to $1.60. That's definitely possible. If we see another shakeout in the market, maybe it's something Donald Trump says, maybe it's something that happens overseas. We just don't know. That's why having a solid dollar cost averaging strategy is the best approach in these markets, because if we see a bounce from the $2 support to where we're at right now, which is like 215 to 220, and we see this get bought up before the next breakout to the upside, well, then waiting to enter in at $1.40 and $1.50, if we never hit those levels until the next bear market, then you're not properly allocated in the crypto market. So what do you do? Because if bullish news about Ripple and XRP isn't affecting the price and Ripple's launching their stablecoin, then banks like Bank of America are members of RippleNet, along with other companies like Standard Chartered, Santander, Neom Bank, among dozens and dozens and dozens of banks globally. Well, the best thing that you can do during volatility is to have a strong bull market strategy guide. For example, Yoni from our research team, he posted this inside of Altcoin Pro University that you can check out through the link in the description below, and the steps to follow. That way you can stay committed this whole entire bull run and not get shaken out. During dips like this, you can have a solid portfolio structure. You can understand how to prepare for volatility during these 20% down days. And you can also take advantage of other opportunities in the space within DeFi, within AI, real world assets, different low cap gems that our research team is spotting for you. For example, when you click the link in the description below, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. You watch this 26-minute video, see everything that's included in Altcoin Pro University. We have over 1,000 members. In the community section, you can go to altcoin picks, market updates, DeFi yield picks, airdrop picks. Go to the Q&A section, get your questions answered on top of the classroom that has 100+ expert curated classes for you, teaching you everything that you need to know. So if refining your strategy is a goal for you, then that's what Altcoin Pro University will help you do. Because when we provide you guys with the news and then also the technical analysis of what's happening on the chart here on this channel, you can have a well-rounded approach to the crypto market the rest of this bull run. Look at this. Bank of America has this patent describing a system that uses Ripple's technology to settle transactions in real time. But how the patent works is simple. The system receives transaction records. It assesses a distributed ledger. It determines the net position, and it records the transaction record. And the goal of this patent is real-time settlement. You can see through Ripple's distributed ledger technology and their interledger protocol, there's a strong case to be made that it's going to rely on Ripple and allow banks to conduct not only real-time settlements, but FX trading, eliminating the need for accounts at partner institutions and settlements, allowing pre-funding options, and allowing cross-border payment processing between different currencies. So this would be using Ripple's protocol with Bank of America acting as a validator node. And so in this Fox Business interview that I just shared with you, that's what he was referring to right here. But there's 82 other blockchain related patents, more than any other US financial firm. Now, what are they waiting for? Well, that's clear regulation. So the US Senate Banking Committee will be holding a hearing to discuss the legislative frameworks for digital assets. Here's what you need to know. This is the first step towards bipartisan legislation, and we'll hear from experts who will shape policy on market structure and stablecoins. So stay tuned for the replays from the live stream. We're going to be covering those on this channel for you guys. Yes, this is a massive deal, and this is happening right now. Senator Cynthia Lummis posted this 7 minutes ago as she gets ready for this. And if you guys go to Banking GOP on Twitter, in the next 15 minutes, I'm recording this video at 2:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could check it out 2:30 p.m. By the time this video comes out, it's probably already going on right now. So you can watch live on X, YouTube, and other committees' websites. Just go check them out right here at Banking GOP. Also, make sure you follow our account at BULLRUNNERS HQ. There's 2 days left to see if XRP will hit $5. Maybe something crazy will happen within the next few days before March 1st. If it happens, we'll give away 100 XRP to one person who likes this post and is following us. Because on Twitter, you guys will see more live, real-time stuff that's taking place in the market because these YouTube videos take a lot longer to make. So Twitter is where you want to stay up to date with us. Look at this. Coinbase just posted this saying the first resolution in our case. Next is clear rules for crypto.
This legal precedent is very important to make sure that we can't revisit this issue again, or a future SEC administration can't revisit it again. But what we really need to do in the United States to get regulatory clarity is to have Congress pass legislation. And that's going to have a couple of key components to it. There's already some stablecoin draft legislation being discussed in Congress. That's an important piece so we can have a digital dollar that preserves America's reserve currency status. We also need to get token classification, or market structure, some people call it, which is essentially just clarifying which of these crypto assets are commodities, securities, payment tokens, artwork, or something else, so that we know how it should be regulated. And if we can get those, the third one I would say would be a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I think that would be an important asset for the United States.
So this is all happening, and it's only a matter of time. So patience and long-term delayed gratification rather than short-term temporary pleasures of going out and like buying new shoes, new clothes, vacations with your money because you're scared of short-term volatility. Look, if you can't handle the short-term volatility, then you don't deserve the gains that come at the euphoria stage of the market. Because if you get shaken out that easily on a little measly 20% dip, then you're not built for this. Work your job for the rest of your life. Crypto is not for you. You don't belong here. But if you can stomach those drops and you can emotionally handle red days like this or weeks like this in the market, then you're going to make a killing. Look at this. The SEC dropped their Uniswap investigation. So with the new head of the SEC chair, they're dropping against Coinbase, they're dropping against Uniswap. What do you think they're going to do about the Ripple lawsuit? It's inevitable, guys. It's going to be over. So ECB advisor says Bitcoin has no real economic need, dismissing Bitcoin reserves due to volatility and speculation risks. But everyone knows which blockchain the European Union will work with. Well, on the Digital Euro Association, they partnered with Ripple back in 2022 during the bear market. They're certainly going to work on stablecoins, which is essentially just a way to make payments more efficient, running on the new ISO 20022 standard by the end of this year in November for all banks globally. So this is why you just have to be careful who you listen to. For example, Michael Saylor, he's known as a big Bitcoin bull. That's all he talks about. He holds billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy's valuation is pretty much determined on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin does well, his company does well. So he has an ulterior motive to talk down about everything else in the industry. For example, listen to what he said right here.
There's no second best crypto. Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Now, why is it the best crypto asset? Because it's increasingly clear that no other crypto token is going to achieve institutional acceptance this decade. Bitcoin is the only crypto that's going to cross the chasm. You could see the writing on the wall when the spot ETF of Bitcoin was approved in January. By the end of May, you'll know that Ethereum is not going to be approved. And when Ethereum is not going to be approved, sometime this summer, it'll be very clear to everyone that Ethereum is deemed a crypto asset security, not a commodity. After that, you're going to see that Ethereum, BNB, Solana, Ripple, Cardano, everything down the stack is just a crypto asset security unregistered. None of them will ever be wrapped by a spot ETF. None of them will be accepted by Wall Street. None of them will be accepted by mainstream institutional investors as crypto assets. This is the one universal consensus accepted institutional grade crypto asset in the world.
So this is the perfect meme right here. Just what? Because he's clearly wrong about all of it. To use absolutes like that and say none of them will be, well, Ethereum ETF got approved, so he's 100% wrong. Verifiable fact, not an opinion. He's calling XRP a security. Verifiable fact, he's wrong. And Donald Trump's World Liberty Fi has been stacking Ethereum over the past week. They purchased roughly 1,500 ETH in the last 7 days. So it feels like they know something that the vast majority of investors don't know. So this is why I'm more bullish on altcoins than I am on Bitcoin. Even though I think Bitcoin will still do well this bull run, I just don't think there's that much more upside compared to something like XRP. And I'll explain why by the end of this video, so keep watching. Cointelegraph just posted this saying Bitcoin's Wyckoff pattern suggests a 100K retest, and a similar setup in 2024 led to a 40% rally. So will history repeat itself as we go from this spring to the test, jump across the creek, and then explosion to a new all-time high? Well, if we look at the chart right here, we saw something similar happen all the way back in 2017 after this breakout from the all-time high, where you guys can see by January 2017, when Bitcoin rallied back up to the high of about $1,150 from the previous high of the 30th of November of 2013, we then saw massive volatility for about like 120 to 130 days before we broke out and we formed a new high at about $3,000. And then we went through this massive chop before breaking out again, and we had another massive pullback right here from $5,000 all the way back to $3,000, and then blast off to nearly $20,000 for that market cycle peak. And so we're seeing something similar happen for Bitcoin. You know, we broke out from the bear market lows, we tested the high, we went a little bit past the high, somewhat similar to what happened back in March of 2017. This happened in March of 2024. And then we just went through a longer consolidation period between, $75,000 and $50,000 before breaking out well past the all-time high in November of 2024, upwards of $100,000. And so going through this volatility right here, if I trace the chart up from that consolidation between June of 2017 to August of 2017, a lot of people think that we have to come back down to, $72,000, $74,000 before we continue higher. And that's not necessarily the case. Now, anything's possible. This dip could be a little bit longer and a little bit deeper than most people expect, but I personally believe the bull market is still intact and we're still going to go higher, regardless of how deep this correction goes in the short term. The long term is looking extremely bullish. And the reason why is because of how the Bitcoin market cycles work and the overall crypto market cycles work through accumulation growth, bubble phases, and crash phases. And if you wanted to learn more about how this works, watch my video I put out 16 hours ago talking about my crypto exit plan and the top 5 technical indicators and signals to sell the peak virtually at the top and make massive gains. Right around 17 minutes, I start running through each of these indicators with you guys and showing how they play out on the chart based on the past few bull run cycles and where we are right now based on macro market indicators like the relative strength index, the pi cycle top indicator, Bitcoin stock to flow, the MVRVZ score, the Puel multiple, and Bitcoin's dominance as well too. So a super important video to check out if you want to understand market cycles. So I already covered that yesterday. I'm not going to go in depth in this video because that video was 35 minutes long and it will completely change the game for you guys so you can better understand these market cycles. But one of the most interesting parts of that video that I will reiterate is this right here. If we look at Bitcoin's chart compared to Total 2's chart, which is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, you guys can see that while Bitcoin did break above the all-time high and go into the bubble phase over to $100,000, Total 2 still hasn't breached above the high and is only in the growth phase right here in green. So during the growth phase, this is where we break out of the accumulation phase from the bear market lows. We retest the previous all-time high right here. You guys can see in December 2024, and then we just consolidate and we chop below the all-time high. Now, these consolidation phases are grueling, they're boring, and they're long. Look at this one. This lasted 150 days, and the market's dropped 42% from March of 2024 until August of 2024. So if you invested $100,000 at the peak right here during the middle of March, the 13th of March specifically, right when the crypto fear and greed index was at 88 out of 100 and everyone was in extreme greed, well, then you would have saw your portfolio drop 42%. So it would have been worth like $58,000. And then the problem is majority of retail investors get spooked out of the markets and they sell down at these levels when the fear and greed index is in extreme fear because they just don't understand market cycles. So right now, since we're in extreme fear, all the way down here at levels that we were at, all the way back here like September 2024, even all the way back in August of 2024, right here when the altcoin market was all the way down here, similar to what we're going through right now. Well, to me, this is just the best possible time to DCA because if I just trace up and I compress the chart right here, this is what it looks like. So does that mean we're going to break out tomorrow? No, not necessarily. This is going to take some time to play out. And if we go through a little bit longer of a sell-off period leading into March and April, then that will definitely shake out a lot more people in the market. And we'll just see the crypto fear and greed index bobble around here around the 20 level, kind of like what happened between August 2024 until October for like 3 months until we broke out from 30 upwards of 70. Then we get back into extreme greed again. But where you make the most money in the market is not when you sell, it's when you buy. It's by buying blood in the water, in the street. When everyone's just getting the crap kicked out of them in their portfolio, doesn't look good because when you look at the macro, the daily, or even the weekly or the monthly, and you compare it to Bitcoin's price chart, well, the altcoin market will start breaking out when Bitcoin's dominance starts to drop like it has the past few bull run cycles. Now, for XRP is the second largest altcoin behind Ethereum. So when this breakout happens for Total 2, well, then that's when the breakout would happen for XRP as well too. So whether we bounce off of this support right here, or we see another flash crash to the downside, further consolidation before we break to the upside, the fact of the matter is this: altcoins haven't hit the overbought level yet. On the 2-month chart, when we put up the stochastic RSI, compared back to the cycle top back in 2018 and cycle top back in 2021, when we saw this bearish cross well above 80. Currently right now, the K line's at 75, the D line is at 69. So while that first major bull run cycle was 20,000% for the crypto total market cap, excluding the top 10, this is others. And then the 2021 peak was 1,500%. The law of diminishing returns would mean that this cycle is not going to be as parabolic, but based on the stochastic RSI on this 2-month chart right here, there's still more time before the market tops out in Q3 and Q4 of 2025. So if you're wondering what do you do if XRP takes a further dip to the downside, well, our research team is going to help you guys spot opportunities in the markets where the majority of liquidity will flood to during the next leg up. For example, our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now. Watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.